Alright there folks, welcome to another episode, and today we're talking eyed hooks and how to tie them basically. It was a question that came up in the Facebook group. How's the best way to tie an eyed hook? You've got two ways really of doing it, and these are the ways that I do it. First of all, I'm going to show you how to tie it as you were doing a hair rig with a loop and a bait band, because I think that's worth showing as well. And then we're going to go into the knotless knot and stuff like that, and I'm just going to show you a slightly different way that I tie eyed hooks as well. So let's get right into it. Right then folks, to do these hooks and the demonstration, I'm going to use some oversized gear. Okay, so first of all, I'm using some size 8 barble hooks just because they show up on camera a little bit better. I've got some 031 line, that's nice and chunky. I don't think I've ever used this other than doing videos and stuff. So we've got them, we've got the scissors, and I've got a little tiny bait band there. So yeah, so this is how I would go about tying a eyed hook with a bait band for fishing hard pellets and stuff like that. Right then, so first thing we're going to do is slide the line through that bait band like that and make a little loop like that, okay? And then what I'm going to do is just going to tie dead simple overhand knot like that so that it loops over. Get your bait band, pop it through there, he said, and then pull it tight. Now depending on what you're doing, you can move that knot closer to your band or leave it further away, but for this demonstration, to be fair, it doesn't really matter. Okay, now as always, wet your knots if you're going to be using them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim off that tag end because we don't need it. If I can see it, there we go. Right, so that's trimmed off, and that is your bait band on a loop on your main line. So next thing is we're going to take our hook, and what we're going to do is we're going to put the line through the back of this hook. Okay, so get your main line, or trim off as much as you need if you're going to do a hook length. Okay, and that goes through the back of this hook like so, and pull that all the way down, and then you want to just line that up, okay, to however really where you need it on the band, to be fair, wherever you want that to be on the bend of the hook. Now a lot of people say it does make a difference, and it kind of does, but it depends what size pellets you're using, what sort of fish you're after and stuff like that. Now as I mentioned when I tied this, it doesn't really matter where the knot is on the length of the loop, because what we're going to do now is we're going to whip this line, the main line, down the shaft of the hook, and as you're whipping it down, it'll actually bury that knot against the shaft of the hook, okay, the shank. So we'll keep on popping that down. Now it always gets a bit fiddly now because your thumb is in the way, but you want to get as many whips down there as humanly possible. Okay, so that'll be about enough. And then what we're going to do is whip it back up. 1, 2. So that line is underneath that eye. Okay, so we're going to grip it there, get the other end of this bit of line, like so, and then we're going to thread it back through the back of this hook, okay, back through the eye, and that is very important, and I'll show you why in just a second. And then we pull all that tight, okay, that'll cinch up a little bit, and you've got a hair rigged hook. Okay, now as I've said before, you can fiddle around with that, play around with it and stuff, but I tend to leave it like that, to be fair, because it just makes it move a little bit more. Whether that's right or wrong, it's all personal choice. Now then, here's the important bit. I wanted it to go back through there, because when that is in like that, okay, I'll just lay it down, you can see how that kinks off and goes that way. That is to help you get better hookups. Okay, so the fish is going to come along, it's going to pick that bait up, that is going to twist and catch in the lip, and you've got a good strong hookup. And because of the angle of that line now, that is only digging deeper into the fish. Okay, if it was coming off the other way, coming off this way, you're putting all your pressure and pulling the hook out, and I've made that mistake in the past, and it was such a silly mistake, and it cost me fish. But always tie it so that when you've finished your knot, the main line goes through the back of that hook and out that way. And if you've done it properly, look, like that basically. And that is a really, really simple hair rigged hook. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. I hope that was clear. And now I'm going to let you in on a very, very little secret of mine, because I am lazy when I fish. I'm not going to lie, and I'm not going to sit here and say, oh yeah, I do this, I do that, when I don't. Okay, you've seen the bull on the top of the page. That's because this is a no BS channel. Okay, so if I'm fishing and I'm using pellets and I'm getting nowhere, and I think, oh, I'm going to try a softer bait, but I can't be bothered changing the hook length, all I'll do is simply snip that band off. Okay, and you just get your scissors, snip that off, and you've got a perfectly tied eyed hook with a knotless knot. Now you can do that without the band. Basically, you don't need to do the loop to start with. Tie it exactly the same way, so you feed your line through, whip it down, whip it back up twice, back through, tight, and that is cinched up. I mean, look at that. It's, well, you can't see it on there. I mean, look at that. That is cinched up nice and tight. That is not going to go anywhere, and I've done that a few times, and that is the second way of tying the hooks, just a knotless knot but without the hair. So to me, that's the easiest way, and it's the strongest as well. So definitely give that a go. Now I'm going to show you the other way in just a second. Let me get rid of this. Right then, so second way of tying this hook. There's your hook, there's your main line. What I want you to do is just simply pop that through the eye, like so, and you're kind of creating a bit of a loop there. Okay, now what I want you to do is just simply loop your line over the main line. Okay, you can do this 7, 8 times, whatever, and then you're going to get that tag end and you're going to pop it back through the bottom loop on the main line. Okay, whoopsies, and that pops in there like that. And then what you're going to do, you're going to get hold of the hook and that tag end, and you're going to pull it all down nice and tight. Now obviously you would wet your line again, pull that tight, cinch it up, and you've got a knot there, look. Okay, and I'm just going to trim off that tag end. And there we go, and that is just another way of tying a hook, slightly quicker, probably just as strong. I don't use it very often, unless I'm doing something specific and I need it to be tied like that, but generally I'd use the knotless knot. I'm not even entirely sure what that knot is called, to be honest. I don't know if it's a grinner knot or something like that. I'm not entirely sure, but surely someone in the comments will know, so drop that below. And that's basically it. 2 different ways of tying an eyed hook. Okay, hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment below, and watch out for the next one. Cheers.